Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fetch Quest podcast, where we talk about video games and more. I'm joined by my fellow co-host today, Brewer.
Hello.
Brewer, you okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I've been a little out of it recently, man.
Why's that?
I just haven't played any good games recently. They've all just been boring or one note.
No, I feel that. I feel that. But we gotta record right now, man. There's gotta be a good game to talk about, right?
Honestly, I'm so sad. I don't even want to record today. I just want to crawl up in a ball and cry.
I mean, yeah, with the state of gaming right now, especially in the AAA scene, I don't blame you. I mean, fuck it. I don't even want to record today.
I guess this is where it ends. This is the end of Fetch Quest. If only we had found that perfect game. Oh well.
Guys, holy fuck!
Whoa, what's wrong, Connor?
I just got done playing the best game of all time.
What do you mean? Most games are boring nowadays. This has gotta be something that, like, rocks me off my horse or something. What's up?
Well, that's the thing, guy. This isn't a game from nowadays. It's an old game. I found it while going through an old bargain bin at GameStop, but it's exciting, it's fresh, and it is most certainly not boring or one note.
Wait, for real?
Connor, tell us the game, bro. Come on. We need to know what this is.
It's called Gwimbly 64.
Oh my god, I love this game. Guy, this game is awesome. We gotta talk about it.
Wait, holy shit, you're right. No, I love Gwimbly 64. Wait, we don't have to end Fetch Quest anymore. Holy shit.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so going from that, we're going to be talking about Gwimbly 64 today. One of, if not the best games on Nintendo 64. Didn't know what to say there. But yeah, no, I'm excited about this. I haven't really played a lot of N64 classics. I mean, I've played through most of Banjo-Kazooie and all of the 64, but the game that I at least am most passionate about is Gwimbly 64. What do you guys think?
I was about to say,
it's hard not to be passionate about it when it's probably the best game on the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, if you have a Nintendo 64, then how have you not played Gwimbly 64? It's a classic. I'm honestly surprised people are stupid enough to think Ocarina of Time is the best game of all time when Gwimbly 64 exists.
I hate that people say that like any game is better than Gwimbly 64 when it's just like there. Like kids these days need to go play the classics because Gwimbly 64 like it was multiple decades ahead of its time.
Yeah, that's the thing is like even though it's an N64 game, it doesn't have like any of the problems that other games of the system have. Like the camera is amazing, it controls well, every level is super well made and has like very little jank. Like there might be a one little glitch there, but like it's so inconsequential that it doesn't take away from the perfectness of the game.
Yeah, graphically too, like it still holds up to this day. That's why I'm always saying like art style over graphics. Because like a lot of this cell shaded stuff as well, like it ages a lot better than stuff that tries to be super realistic for the time. Like look at Tomb Raider with Lara Croft's pointy tits. See how well that's aged versus like the cartoony and fun Gwimbly 64.
Exactly.
We keep hyping this game up. I think we should explain what it is.
True. I guess since I'm the one who suggested the game, I'll go. So, Gwimbly 64, like the other inferior games of the system, like Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie, is a 3D platformer where you play as the titular Gwimbly, and you with your partner, Mr. Millipede, go on a great journey to collect all the creamed corn, which has been stolen from Gwimbly and his land of Creamy Canyon. And you have to go on this grand journey, collect all the cream corn, defeat awesome, incredibly well designed bosses, go through incredibly well-made levels that like just keep adding surprise after surprise, and use your special power of the Gwimbly glide with Mr. Millipede, and you gain assistance throughout with Mr. Millipede and his awesome abilities.
Dude, Mr. Millipede is my goat because honestly, without like Mr. Millipede, the game would just feel super dull because Mr. Millipede adds a lot to Gwimbly's moveset.
Yeah,
Like Gwimbly
it's
has his like regular jump and then his attacks and whatnot, but Mr. Millipede is where like, he really gets into his self.
Yeah, it's and the Gwimbly glide's also just really cool because there's a really cool thing you can do with speedrunning where if you use the Gwimbly glide on the ground, you can go just like supersonic fast, and it makes speedrunning the game an absolute treat.
Dude, Gwimbly speedruns are insane for a game that usually takes around like 25 hours to beat, like 40 hours if you want to collect everything. It is absolutely insane to me that like we are at sub 15 right now for Gwimbly speedruns. Like, just dude, people are cracked at this game.
Have you seen the blindfolded Gwimbly runs?
Oh my god, dude, I've seen those. Those are nuts.
That's
Like,
just
that's dedication.
that's a true Gwimbly head right there.
That is.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, to be fair though, like a lot of games like from this time just have like insane speedrun communities or like just very dedicated communities. I think it just has to deal with the fact that like it's a 3D platformer where like there's no like real RNG a part of it, so it's like it's consistent as long as you like map out the like your road in terms of like collecting the collectibles and like fighting the bosses in like certain ways. It's very doable. And like, especially like a game of like its age, it's also just very exploitable with like its ages because like it released on the N64. Like, come on, Mario 64 is also known for its glitches. Same with like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask with its glitches. So like, Gwimbly 64 is no stranger to that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I know they tried to fix some of those glitches and like the Gwimbly replay remasters, along with a bunch of the other games the publisher made. But honestly, I feel like the original is the best way to play the game because the remake just kind of it added that hyper realism I talked about. The gameplay is still the same, but like they also took out some of the glitches that kind of gave it character, which is why everyone speedruns in the original version of the game, even though there's a speedrun mode built in to the new Gwimbly remaster.
yeah, I mean, it's just I think there's a reason though. We're all talking about the 64 version and not the remaster.
Yeah, you can say it's nostalgia to some degree, but you can also say maybe they were a little off the note on why everyone loved Gwimbly so much back in the day,
Yeah, I think they just got a lot of stuff wrong. I mean, they just removed a lot of Mr. Millipede stuff in there, and I don't know. It was a whole mess in development too. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Gwimbly 64 and how awesome it is. So I guess we can start with levels. So what is y'all's favorite level? I can go first if needed.
Go for it.
There's so many good levels. You go first. I'm having a hard time thinking of which one's my favorite.
True. I think. Oh man, you are right though. It's really hard. I think mine have to be. It might have to be Reefer Reach.
Ooh,
It's
that's a good one.
yeah. It's really rare, especially in this era, to actually get a fun and good water level. But I mean, Reefer Reach just. It's just awesome, and the final boss, or not the final boss, but the boss of the area, Queen Queef. What an incredible boss! Just from her her area control with her noxious gases, um, and just how she plays with the area. It makes her a really interesting boss. But I'm curious to see what you guys say.
Okay. Underrated level. I know there's some controversy around this one, especially because back in the day it didn't exactly work the best. My favorite's got to be Midget Mountain, especially with the boss of Squidget the Midget.
Hold on, wait. You like Midget Mountain?
Dude, I love Midget Mountain. Like, you guys know that
Really?
Astrobot? You know that Astrobot level we had where you were able to shrink down? Gwimbly basically did that like decades earlier on like really basic hardware. So like while it is a bit glitchy, I know it has some parts that are like just don't go over too well, especially that bridge where you have to jump on one of the enemies and bounce off it to get over. Like, I know parts like that don't work the best, but like the shrinking mechanic in that level is so fun, and then the boss as well. You could say the level is maybe worse than, like, you know, something like Reefer Reach or Creamy Canyon, but the boss, oh, Squidget the Midget is so fun to fight. Especially like trying to just chase him down in all the little holes in Midget Mountain by shrinking down to chase after him.
I don't know.
It's peak. It's peak.
I definitely think this is a bit of a hot take though, Brewer, because I think, like, yeah, I get where you're coming from. I really do think the shrinking technology they used was like really ahead of its time. I mean, for crying out loud, Astrobot copied it, but I think the main reason I really don't like this level a whole lot is because of that boss fight. Because it's just so annoying having to chase him through all the little holes and stuff like that. It's just like he does a lot more running than he does fighting, I think.
And I feel like the level though is like, it looks so visually pretty, especially like with the crystals they have in Midget Mountain. I never really minded chasing him down too much, you know.
The name did not age well at all.
It did not. It did not.
Well, it's an old game, you know.
It was from decades ago.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah,
old.
that's fair.
I think that's what they changed it in the remaster.
Yeah, they changed it to. I think they just call him Squidget now.
Yeah, and small mountain.
Yeah, it's Yeah, but I think I do get where you're coming from with small mountain, but I don't know. I think there are just a couple more that are better. And Guy, why don't you tell us about one of those levels?
I think a level that is just better. This might be I might be a little biased on this because this is the final area with, of course, the final boss. But to me, I think Creamy Canyon is the best and also my favorite. This is like the point of the game where I feel like they really like stepped up the challenge in terms of platforming, and I love like semi-difficult like platforming, and I just think this level like really does it for me. Not only that, but I think the final boss, like Count Groxia is just very fun. I know it's very simple. I mean, like, again, it is a 90s platformer. It is not going to have like the most complex bosses ever. Holy shit, I have Liam's speech impediment. But I do think that like it's just fun. It's engaging. Like, it's engaging in the way of like how Bowser from N64 Mario is just engaging. It's fun. It's like, it's not too hard, but it's also just a bit of a challenge. I don't know. I think that just might be the Souls player in me that's telling me, hey, there's a good level.
Yeah, I think maybe similarly to the Bowser Mario 64, like, it's a very simple fight, especially like he's kind of similar to Bowser. He's big dude, walks around kind of slowly, but I do like how they have his pitchfork in there, like that, his iconic red pitchfork that gives him a lot of range and his attacks. That makes it to where you're not really always safe in a stage, to where like if you're on low health and you want to take a breather, you can't really. You have to just actually engage with the boss.
Hey,
which is why I think that's what makes him so memorable, you know?
That is true. But Guy, did you mean Groxia's Grove?
Wait, what'd I say?
You said Creamy Canyon. That's the tutorial area.
Oh, that is the oh,
Bro
fuck,
was
you're
a fake Gwimbly fan. Oh my
Fake
god.
Gwimbly, dude.
Okay.
Lord.
My bad. Okay, to be fair, no one really. I don't know why it's like this, but like a lot of people just talk about Creamy Canyon, so it just like blurted out. Yes, okay. Everything that I just said, Groxia's Grove. My bad.
You know,
that I think has like the best like platforming.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's really iconic. Like it's so iconic that like when Gwimbly was put into Super Smiling Bros, that was his stage. So I don't really blame you.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
and I think, well, since you kind of like mentioned it, I think we should like. There are also just a few other levels I'd like to talk about. One of them being Creamy Canyon. And
I mean, it is the original level and probably the most iconic one besides Groxia's Grove. So
yeah, I think it's a really good tutorial level. It introduces you to, you know, the mechanics really well with like Mr. Millipede's ability to help you with like Gwimbly Glide. It obviously introduces like Gwimbly's sister of what is her name?
Gwimbina.
Gwimbina. Thank you, Brewer. Um, just slipped my mind there, but yeah, it introduces you to Gwimbina. You get to do some really fun platforming that isn't it's not super challenging, but it helps you get used to the mechanics well, and then you get to fight the corn crook, which gets you used to the combat of the game, and I think it's just a great tutorial level.
Yeah, especially getting used to Mr. Millipede's ability to give you the Gwimbly glide. Like, I felt like Corner Crook did a really good job of introducing you to that mechanic.
Yeah, yeah, the corn crooks, he also just has a great design in general.
Oh yeah, fantastic design.
Yeah, and then I guess the last level, and I think we can all agree that this is a pretty good level, is a Lava Lookout.
I love Lava Lookout.
Okay, yeah, no, that level's really fucking fun.
It's kind of crazy because for this era, or just like even in this like decade of gaming that we're talking about, there's so many lava levels that just do not go over all that well. Especially like just getting burnt in a lot of areas. A lot of them can feel unfair. The only thing I feel that's worse than a lava level in a lot of these games is like maybe a water level. But even then, Gwimbly did that fantastically. Its water level is amazing.
Well, I think a reason why the lava level feels like really fun is partly due to the Gwimbly glide, because it keeps you from falling into the lava a lot, which is really helpful because it saves you from dying.
Yeah, yeah,
just
definitely.
The reason why Mr. Millipede is goated.
Yeah, I think it is why as well a lot of 3D platformers, especially newer ones nowadays, they have some kind of mechanic of like what's the best way for me to explain? It's like either a double jump or a glide. Almost all platformers have this to some degree, to where you have some way to redirect yourself if you accidentally jump out the wrong way. Like Mario Odyssey has Cappy, Astrobot has that like glide with the little lasers. So I feel like a lot of platforms have that, like even older ones as well, like Rayman as well, kind of like had that little glide with his hair turned into a propeller. Gwimbly kind of has that with the Gwimbly glide with Mr. Millipede.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we've talked about the gameplay enough. I think something we do need to talk about is the game's impact and just what it did for the N64.
I mean, what didn't it do for the N64? I mean, just for gaming in general.
Yeah,
I know, like, actually.
I have an easier time
this
listing...
is, like, one of the main... You first, sorry.
I was gonna say, I have an easier time listing to things it, like, it has done than hasn't. Like, dude, it's just so amazing.
Guy,
I was gonna say... Yeah.
I was gonna ask, do you know the sales of Gwimbly 64?
Yeah, Gwimbly sold over, like, 3 million copies on the N64, which doesn't seem like a lot nowadays, but like you gotta remember, during the 90s, like gaming was much more niche and consoles were not sold as frequently. So for this game to sell over 3 million copies, it's just very, very good for it. Like,
that's a success. Well.
Exactly.
Yeah, not to mention for the time, like I think if Gwimbly had maybe released on like the PlayStation, it would have had more competition. But if it found the same audience that it did with the Nintendo 64, it could have been a little more successful because there was just so many more PlayStations sold at the time than Nintendo 64s, especially because of the cartridge. I know the developers mentioned there was like one extra level and boss they wanted to put into the game, but they just weren't able to do it with the N64's limited cartridge space, so they had to save it for Gwimbly 2.
Oh yeah, we should mention, so as we mentioned before, Cream Corn is like a collectible. Think of them like the Jiggies or the stars from Banjo-Kazooie and Mario 64. But if you collect all of them, you actually get a little teaser of Gwimbly 2, which I think is just so cool. Like, very few games, I think, did that at the time.
Honestly, that's probably one of the best completion rewards you could give me. Like, if I've gone through the effort to get every single little thing in this game, obviously I'm gonna want more, so give me a teaser that, like, let me know that you have something cooking.
Yeah, exactly. But there is something that we do need to talk about. Obviously this game had a lot of impact. It had, it sold super well. It helped influence a lot of platformers going forward, and just kind of like games in general. But it's really sad to see what the parent company has essentially done to Gwimbly, and that's essentially completely forget them. They like after Gwimbly 2, there's not as far as I know, there was not a single other Gwimbly game, and Gwimbly never made another public appearance until Super Smiling Brothers.
Yeah, we kind of forget the third game for a reason because it was more of a spin-off than like an actual main new title. I think if you like,
that was
if you,
that was the you
if you
first.
look at it without the lens of a Gwimbly game, I don't think it's a terrible game. But God, it was a 360 game, and those car mechanics were so janky. Like, how did the first two Gwimbly games on the Nintendo 64 run way better than a game released on like the Xbox?
Brewer, there is no Gwimbly 3 screws and wrenches in Bossing Say.
Yeah, honestly.
I was gonna say, like, that's mostly due to like just the parent company just like making like pretty ass decisions like with the IP since they bought it. I don't know. It really disappoints me because like the change that they are making from like going from like original 3D platformers to like kind of like fitting like the meta right now in terms of like AAA gaming with like I mean, we have the newest release of Troglor, which just came out, and I mean, it looks fine, but like I'm gonna be so dead ass. This is like the 10 millionth like first person shooter to come out this year, so it's like I really couldn't care. It's like, oh cool, another multiplayer shooter, fun. When can I get the new Gwimbly game? You know what I mean? Like that's an IP you haven't used in a while. Can I have that, please?
Yeah, dude. When I saw Troglor was added to Super Smiling Bros, I was like, how much did they pay for this guy to be in? Like, thank God they added Gwimbly. Like adding an iconic character like that fans have been asking for like multiple games. But, like, God, adding Troglor, like they're just trying to force him into everything, but they don't realize he doesn't have the charm of Gwimbly, especially like what I mentioned before, art style versus realism. You know?
Yeah,
You first.
I was gonna say yeah. I am glad that they did add Gwimbly in because, like, you know, as you said, bro, they've been asking for him for ages. But and it's also bringing about like a sort of Gwimbly resurgence because, you know, he's I mean, the game got added to Nintendo Online.
Yeah, I'm very happy they did that. Make it more accessible for people.
Yeah, for people to play this masterpiece. But I'm hoping that like the parent company obviously like sees how many people like Gwimbly 64 and how much like people are playing it now that's on the online feature, and they think of like maybe having a revival to the series because even though after Gwimbly 64 the series did kind of fall off a bit, it's still Gwimbly 64, you know?
Yeah.
But
there's a reason we're talking about it decades later, you know?
yeah, exactly. But I think we should sort of move into our concluding points here. Like, I think we've talked them, you know, a good amount about it. So I think we could keep this short. Who wants to go first?
I can go first, sure. I'm really glad I got to experience Gwimbly on Xbox Game Pass recently. I knew that like this game was hyped up. I knew people
Nintendo
loved
Online?
it. No. Well, yeah, it's on Nintendo Online as well, but it's also on Game Pass through the parent company.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you were about to mention that crappy remaster they did.
No. They added it on Game Pass before Nintendo Online ever did anything.
Okay,
that's how I
where
play
my
it.
mix-up was.
And
I'm sorry.
also in Brewer's defense, I don't think you have Game Pass anyway.
That's fair. But yeah, no, I'm really glad I got to play it on there, and I gotta say, I fell in love with it. Like, obviously, this isn't like the most complex game ever. It has a very simple story. It has very simple like mechanics, but it's like the ingenuity and just the thought put into like the level design and just like making the simple yet amazing platforming. I just think like this game really holds a testament to just like how good like original like 3D platformers were when like they were first coming out on like the N64 and like in the 90s. And I'm just glad that Gwimbly stands as like one of these pillars of 3D platforming. And I just wish that there was more recognition for Gwimbly, because you have like IPs like him and Banjo-Kazooie who have not gotten games in years. Meanwhile, like Mario, we're probably gonna get like another 3D Mario soon, like with the Switch 2 coming out, which I'm excited for. Don't get me wrong, but it's also like, man, it'd be awesome to see like the Gwimbly devs like take a go at it, see what's going on, use some new hardware, see where they can go with it. But that's just me being a hopeful thinker, like a hopeful wisher, I guess.
Dude,
But
imagine a
yeah,
portable
I mean,
modern Gwimbly
if
game.
you want to play a good game, I can always just replay Gwimbly 64.
Definitely, man. Dude, imagine a modern new Gwimbly game on the Switch 2.
That would be really good.
Like, I know it wouldn't make too much sense because the rights are with Microsoft, but still, just imagine.
It would be really awesome to see.
Dude,
Exactly. All right, who's next?
I can go.
All right.
Okay, so I'll try to keep this short. But I think Gwimbly 64 is just a. I mean, I've said it throughout the video. I think it's a masterpiece. It's really impressive what they were able to do with the hardware and how to like make this like just a really good game. Kind of reminds me of like Monolith Soft, and the how they were able to make Xenoblade 1 on the Wii. Like just absolute sorcery with that. I think it stands up really well. It's just an all-around fantastic game. And now that it's being ported to like a bunch of modern consoles through like game, as we said, Game Pass and Nintendo Online, I think a lot of people are just going to keep playing it, and I really hope they do because it's just an awesome game. But yeah, I think that's all for my concluding points. I guess now that leaves it to Brewer.
Dude, what can I not say about Gwimbly? Like, you guys cannot believe how hard I popped off when Gwimbly was revealed for Super Smiling Bros. Like, I have my opinions on the game now, especially with balancing of characters like Mr. Boss. But, dude, I literally jumped out of my chair when Gwimbly got added in that DLC trailer.
It literally crashed.
I'm with you, man. It was so hype.
It literally crashed Twitter as well. Like,
yeah,
dude, it crashed Twitter. That's how insane the reveal was.
exactly.
Yeah. But, dude, what can I say? What can I not say about Gwimbly that hasn't already been said? If you want just an amazing 3D platformer, go play Gwimbly 64. I love collecting the creamed corn. It's an amazing collectible. It's super iconic as well. But funnily enough, back in the day, it actually increased sales, the creamed corn, to the point where some stores were sold out of it just because of how popular it was.
That's really funny.
It is really funny. There's actually a couple promos with like Gwimbly on creamed corn cans. With some of those cans, like resellers actually resell them for like hundreds of dollars nowadays if you have a sealed one. It's crazy. Yeah, but I love its movement, especially the Gwimbly glide. Mr. Millipede is an iconic character. Rest in peace to his actor who recently passed away. It's a shame. It's a shame he had to go because he had so much more to live for. But we'll always remember him, I guess.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah.
But
It is sad.
Yeah, but God, the levels were amazing. I love Creamy Canyon. I know not everyone loves it, but I love Midget Mountain. And then the bosses are just iconic as well.
yeah, and I'm just glad that we can, with how many AAA games can just be like unfinished, super buggy, just very samey in one note, like compared to each other, like the Troglore games. I'm really glad that we can all go back and play Gwimbly 64 and see what like a really passionate team can do with the game. But if we have nothing else, then I think that's our episode on Gwimbly 64.
Yeah, if you like this kind of content, please like and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, please hit those buttons and comment down below what your favorite part about Gwimbly 64 was. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode. This has been our episode on Gwimbly 64. Catch you later. See ya!
Bye, everybody.
Remember, never stop Gwimbling.
Remember, always eat your creamed corn.
Goodbye.